International law specialist from the Wits School of Governance. Good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. I wonder what is, your reaction to this particular decision by Egypt and Turkey. How significant is it?
Yeah, good evening and good evening to your viewers. So, before we step into the significance of what it means for, the world, including as Egypt and Turkey seek to intervene in this matter, we would have noted that Pretoria has now requested the ICJ for, additional measures in terms of additional provisional measures in terms of the situation that's taking place in Rafah. And this has now brought about, a different type of appeal, in terms to the World Court, saying that, look, Israel has now gone to this area, and we're asking you to please put or add provisional measures here that will try to help the situation there, because there is a humanitarian crisis that is happening in that region. And in this request for additional provisional measures, South Africa uses strong words, strong diplomatic words, to show that it is not happy with how Israel has abused international law and has disrespected, the orders from the court. And now we have seen Egypt, a strategic ally of Israel, because it is, in fact, one of the first Arab countries to have signed a peace accord with Israel. They have had peaceful relations with Israel for quite some time now, for many years. And now it is saying that, no, we are going to join South Africa in this. Enough is enough. Yeah. And whatever it's joining for whatever reasons. And one of the reasons I think Egypt is joining is because it understands that if the catastrophic situation that happens in Rafah, if the catastrophic situation happens in Rafah, it will spill into Egypt. Palestinians will try to seek refuge into Egypt. It poses a security challenge not only for Egypt, but for the entire Middle East region. So, so for everyone, Egypt is a focal point, and everyone is waiting to see how does this translate into the relationship with Israel.
Yeah, I'm going to get to the ICJ application in just a moment, but let me stay with what you're saying about Egypt, because it was one of the questions, to say that then how much of a punch could this be viewed as for Israel, given that relationship?
Yeah, it will. It is a diplomatic blow for Israel. That is clear. And but what the consequences are, or what the consequences will be, we'll have to wait and see in the next coming few days and weeks how other Middle East countries react to this Egyptian response. And like I mentioned earlier, for whatever reason the Egyptian government has decided to take this, but I believe for one reason it is looking at its domestic challenges to say, if this thing happens, it will put a burden on us. It will put a burden on our country, and therefore, we need to find a way to stop our ally. And Washington has been keen on listening to Egypt's view on the matter, and how Washington responds and views Egypt's application to join South Africa in this matter. We will have to wait and see.
So you say, in your words, that this is a different type of appeal. Could we see a different turn of events than the second application that was rejected by the International Court for those additional measures in March?
Oh, so when I meant a different type of appeal, I never meant a situation that is different from others. What I was trying to say is, this concerns the issue of another region, Rafah, right? It concerns the last point of refuge for many people, for many civilians that are there. So for me, I just feel that, this type of I feel that these requests for additional measures, will reach a diminishing point, in that, a lot of it will end up, being of moral value, but will not likely influence Israel on how it acts. So I believe that what needs to be done is more diplomatic efforts need to be put in, like, for example, how we've seen Egypt now taking a step, trying to intervene in the matter. Those type of things, have real influence on how things are seen, because we have seen from the past measures that have been granted that Israel has not abided by it, and sought to not respect international law. So sort of diplomatic efforts that happen more on a regional level, more on a multilateral level, such as the United Nations, will definitely put Israel in a certain place to try to come to the table and try to agree to a ceasefire.
So I was going to end off with that then. So does it, in your view, please elaborate, does it change what we've seen taking place at the ceasefire negotiations? Because we saw that, there were, of course, those concerns that things are now back to square one, given Israel's position on the very latest.
To a certain extent, it does change, But again, for me, I just believe that Washington has to come to the party. It has to tell Israel that, look, enough is enough. We need to be able to try to reach a ceasefire. I mean, international humanitarian law is a very important aspect, in international law. It needs to be respected, because these are civilians that we're talking about. The healthcare system is about to collapse. Humanitarian aid is not going through, and whatever, different countries try to do, the last thing I think that will need to happen is that these countries, these regional organizations that feel that enough is enough, have to speak to Washington to say that they need to speak to Israel, because for Israel to understand or to try to sit on the table, it will need the voice of Washington to support it, or to say, you need to now sit on the table. We will not support you if you go into Rafah. These are the type of negotiations and diplomatic engagements that need to happen. Otherwise, I think even if the court adds more additional provisional measures, Israel will continue to violate it, because it has violated already the first set of it. So why would it not violate this one?
All right, Patrick, thank you so much for your time this evening. Appreciate it. That is Patrick Lukusa Kadima, International Law Specialist from the Wits School of Governance.